Yes, guys, welcome back to the Irish Hotspur with your boy Dave and a special guest, your post-match reaction panel with us as we talk about Tottenham making the Clarets absolutely squeal for mercy as we trash them 5-2 at Turf Moor today to go second in the Premier League as we speak this evening, which is absolutely joyous, I may add. But look, we'll go around the panel and we'll see how people are. We'll start with you, Nick, my man. How are you keeping?
I can hear music from someone. I don't know if that's just me.
Oh, it's on Nick's end.
Yeah.
An eternal loop of music.
Yeah,
it's a loop.
Too.
It's a loop. Anyway, why Nick sorts that out, we'll go to Michael. Michael, how are you, my man?
I'm absolutely so pleased by watching this team, boys. Like it's hard to imagine that just like 4 days ago we were whining about how bad the performance was, and right now, honestly, we'll get to it. But I was absolutely so happy to watch every single minute of this game today. Brilliant.
Fills you with a lot of pride, right, Michael? You know, compared to what we've seen over the last few years.
Yeah, it's like, don't get me wrong, we had like plenty of good matches under both like Jose and Conte, which I enjoyed, but the style was much different, right? And with this team right now, listen, I know it's only 4 matches and 1 match lost in the cup, right? But the vibe is different. Like, I watched this team, they're winning in a like similar scoreline, let's say, but the vibe is completely different. I can see them playing with like happy faces, basically. They just look happy. They just look like they are enjoying themselves. And I think that can be a nucleus of a really good, bunch of professionals that will do something. Maybe not this season, but in future seasons, definitely.
For sure. It definitely gives you, the bones of something to be excited about going forward. For sure. For sure. We'll go to Nick again. Nick, how you keeping, my man?
I'm good, man. I heard a quote earlier on We Are Tottenham TV that I think sums it up for everybody pretty much, man. I forget who said it, so I can't reference exactly, and I'll be a little bit cleaner on it. It's, I would rather ruin my underwear than go to the toilet while Ange Ball is on, and I think that sums it up across the board, man. It is exciting. You never know what's going to happen next. All you know is we never stop. We keep going forward with the ball. And we'll talk about the last 5 minutes of the match, which disappointed me a little bit because, we never stop wasn't really in full gear at that point in time. But other than that, man, I think we did a phenomenal job, man. And we kind of settled a lot of scores within the community, which I'm sure we'll get into.
For sure. I thought you were about to break out into your famous song there, Nick.
No, that's only for the end. Only for the end, buddy.
I can't wait to hear it. I definitely can't wait to hear it. We'll go over to you, Jacob, my man. How are you keeping down there in El Paso?
I'm trying my hardest to not be the most shameless man in the face of the world right now.
I've already seen your Twitter. You're already being shameless.
Hey, there's 2 people that run the Twitter. I just want a disclaimer. There's 2 people that operate that Twitter. But yes, I have been shameless. I have endorsed the tweets that have been sent. I do endorse the message. I've heard a lot. I've heard a lot from a lot of people about a lot in regards to Son, in regards to Romero, in regards to the captaincy, in regards to Ange Postecoglou. I've been hearing a lot lately. And I'm just excited the next things I'm going to be hearing is all the love that Sonny gets and all the love that Ange Postecoglou is going to get. So, you know what? I can't be too blessed to be stressed. You already know the motto. But at the same time, I heard a bunch of things that have been proved wrong, things that I felt in my gut, and anyone who operates in their life on, their gut instincts, keeping them survive, countless times my gut bailed me out of situations. And the most recent example being Heung-min Son and Christian Romero. We'll talk about it individually, but both of them just making me shameless today. And I just want to say it's a great time to be a Spurs fan. I've always been the kind that's like, I want players to prove me wrong. I thought Kulusevski stepped up. He didn't contribute goal, assist, whatever. but I thought he stepped up. I've been critical of him, I think, on this platform as well. So, you know, I want that guy to prove me wrong. So I think as fans, if you called and you criticize Son, I think it's fair to criticize what you've seen and what you think people need to improve on. I think that's fair. It's just nice whenever it's like people say he lost his pace, and I've always said I don't think so. Sonny's a shell of who he was. I don't think so. Rivals saying he doesn't even want to be here, etc. Look at the smile. I'm just saying the vibes are immaculate.
No, look, we'll definitely get in and talk about Son's performance for sure. For sure. Look, I think we found his best role in the Ange Postecoglou system. You know, now it's just about working out the two. Either side of him, I think we're definitely going to be absolutely cooking. Mia, returning from holidays, returning from, what was it, the Isle of Man or the Isle of Wight, one of the two. How are you keeping?
Isle of Wight, yeah. I'm still got a bit of illness, but I'll survive. Yeah.
You don't sound the best.
No, I still have got a bit of a funny throat and a bummed up nose, but you know, life carries on. I've got to get on with it, innit? That's what you can do.
Look, Spurs serve you the perfect remedy, right?
Oh, and I'll tell you what was a perfect remedy was that Romero goal. Oh. Beautiful man scoring that beautiful goal. Is all I can say. Honestly, it was beautiful.
I call it the rom bomb. I've been calling it the rom bomb all day, Mia. It was absolutely sensational. It was exquisite. You know, when I celebrate and start calling the rom bomb, I was thinking to myself, there's only going to be one more person more excited about that than me. You know, and it was definitely always going to be you. So I know you're absolutely loving it.
I've been actually told that a couple of times today. I must have been so excited for that goal. So everyone obviously knows, don't they? But it was absolutely brilliant. And to get it, like, it came to him. He struck it absolutely beautifully. And see that man's happy, beautiful face is all I need in life. He's just, everything.
Do you know what? I almost loved his tackle 10 minutes later more than the goal when he absolutely crashed, smashed that guy, Kishore or whatever you call it. It was absolutely unbelievable, just doing Romero-esque things. It was quality. But look, I'm going to welcome some people in from the chat, the great public out there. Let's see, you know what, the great Spurs fans are in with us this evening. And then we will bring up the match stats and that. And then we'll go through to get the game from the starting lineup, you know, go through some of the goals and stuff like that and see you out the other end. So we have Rishi, big up Rishi. We got Iceman, big up to Iceman. Hopefully you're keeping well. Also Franco Martini, Stevie Webb, great to see you, my man. Gamer16, great to see you. Berbatov's halftime smoke, absolutely love it. By the way, you're the elite member. So if you want, email me. We need to reach out, do a Spurs story with you. And basically what that entails is we find out how you got in supporting this great club, where the great YouTube name came around as well, by the way, and also your greatest memoirs from your time as a Spurs fan. So please email, get in touch, and we'll get that sorted out, my man. Big up Welsh Gal as well. Big up Allison. Big up Level Earth. Also, Nomads in the building. Who else have we got here? We've got a man, Immoval Randomized. Come on, guys. I'm cooking. I want your background company. Well, here we are, my man. Who else have we got? Adzi, great to see you in the building. Hopefully you enjoyed that one today. Italian and Australian football fan. Son is better than Kane. There we have it. Well, you know, Harry Kane's over there scraping out draws against Gladbach. You know, and Son's up front cooking for us. So happy days. We have Dreadlock74, crazy music, big up, my man. We also have Norman Stanley Fletcher. Ours is a very, very special club. Big up, Martin Nicebridge, my man. Great to see you. Let me know when you want to meet up, by the way, brother. Big yourself up. Also, Biggie Singh Johal. Great to see you in the building. Loves music. A performance to make our new fam, Robbie Williams, proud of. Yeah, look, you know, the guy absolutely loves Tottenham. It's just a shame he can't pronounce Pochettino's name right. Ever since Nick pointed it out to me, I cannot miss it every time I listen to the song. But big up, loves music.
Dave, I started saying Pochettino, man, every time.
I was about to walk into Starbucks the other day and ask for one of them, Nick.
That's for Pochettino?
Yeah.
It's an Italian flavor.
I wouldn't do that. It's just basically an empty bottle.
That's right. That's right. Good one, Mia.
Good. You know, could be looking for a new job over the international break. Boot off today, apparently. Big up Orange Sham as well. Bobby Big, great to see you in the building. Sorry, not Bobby Big. Bobby BG, big yourself up. Claude Murphy. We also have Balpinder Begania, great to see you. Dermotron in the house. Big up, Dermotron. Hopefully you're keeping well, my man. Everyone send some Dermot some love in the chat there, please. Big up, Foggy Foam. Mick Hermalock, Leon, Lego as well. Great name. Mark, my man. Great to see you in the building. What a game today. Just a harmless potato. Great to see you in the building. We also have Jajid Rawat says, Jacob and Michael, great panel. Love it. Big up, King Huddle. Cry away my pain. Great to see you. You got the one and only Ellie back. You got to see your Hoiberg today. You got to see him. I'd say you nearly shed a tear. You know, he nearly left you yesterday. I'd say you're absolutely buzzing. Big up, Sean Brown. Daryl, great to see you in the building. Moby Dick says, Hoiberg, get out my club. I think that's someone trying to have a go at you, Ellie. I wouldn't take it. Who else have we got? Rick, C, Piccolo, Chris Peters. Great to see you all. Tyler Lee. We also have Tyler in the house. Big up, Tyler. Great to see you, my man. But look, we are going to crack on. There's so many and so far behind. Guys, big up P-Dubs as well. Great to see you. Hopefully you're keeping well, my man. Great to speak to you on Monday. But look, we are going to crack into it and bring up the match stats just to show you what sort of what sort of game we're analysing. Of course, Burnley had 16 shots to our 20. I will say we gave up a lot in the last 20 when the game was done, so they are a bit skewed. Shots on target 4 to our 10. Possession again skewed because we gave up a lot of it last 20. 54% to 46. Corner 7 to 4. Big chances 3 to 2. But the scoreline is what's most impressive. 5-2 Tottenham Hotspur. That's what we also love. Also, your man the match options for later on when we get to it is Maddison, Pedro Porro, Rom Bomb, that's his new nickname, and also Sonaldo as well. So they are your man the match choices. But look, we'll get into it and we'll go to you first, Mike, and we'll work our way around, my man. I mean, Ange Postecoglou, he changed the team back to what it was likely his likely first choice, and sort of Spurs purred more than ever before, is what I would say. He made 9 changes again, just like he did for Fulham. Does that go to show that Ange was not the problem, but it's the players? Because no one's talking about the 9 changes today.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's talking because like he reverted back to the original team. Like, listen, I still think the decision to change 9 players for Fulham was wrong, right? I will not back down from it. I mean, wrong in the sense that, you know, he knows the quality of those players. But let's not talk about Fulham, right? Let's talk about today. I'm like, again, nothing personal against the guy, but I am really happy to see Richarlison benched. He wasn't performing well, and I think that putting Sonny up top and giving chance to Solomon proved to be a really good choice. I think both like Solomon on the left and Son through the middle offered us something that we could not utilize in the previous games unless Sonny moved to the middle for like last 15 minutes or so, right? Which was, Sonny was amazing at linking up play, and he is way better than Richarlison and making the runs like through the defense, you know, sitting on the shoulder of the last defender, and he's better at link up play. And I think Solomon offered something that Son doesn't really offer on the left, which was, he offers more, like Son dribbles more, Solomon dribbles more than Son. Too many Sons, fuck's sake. Like, it's kind
Emerson, Richarlison, Son.
Yeah, Emerson, Richarlison, Son, Maddison, you know, all those guys. Solomon offers more dribbling on the left, right? And I think we really utilized that well today. I think Solomon showed tenacity, and he showed that even though he is really small, he is not easy to barge off the ball. He's not easy to just shoulder off the ball. I appreciate the hard work that he's put in. And listen, it doesn't really sound well for Richarlison, to be honest, because I think this was clearly the best performance of ours so far. I think even though that we conceded 2 stupid goals, let's be honest about it, I think other than that, Burnley didn't really threaten us that much. There was that one Vicario save at like 55th minute or something. I think, but other than that, I did not feel threatened at all through that match. So yeah, it doesn't bode well for Richarlison, but we will see. I am really happy that Ange has the balls to drop him if he doesn't feel that like the best outcome can be achieved with him in the starting lineup, which is, I think that he said, by the way, after Bournemouth. He said that he will always pick the 11 that will yield the best result. Not counting Fulham, of course, but I think that's the point, right?
Yeah. Look, and I admire the boss to do that, right? Richarlison scored midweek or against Fulham. He could have easily, went with him again. He didn't. He made that change up, and it worked to our benefit today. We caught Burnley open time and time again. But Jacob, how much of Ange Postecoglou made a big call up front today, and we'll get into future number 9s in a little while. But how much respect or credit does Ange Postecoglou deserve for also changing the leadership, right? Freedom scored today, but also since the leadership, that first team looks rejuvenated. They look free. They look, they're absolutely balling out. There's no one pointing and blaming and everything else. They're high-fiving. You've seen Romero and Vicario celebrating, keeping the ball out of the back of the net. I mean, how much of it is also down to the change in leadership, what we're seeing right now?
It really looked like Ainge ball's just coming together still. And really, that's what we've talked about these first weeks. I know all of us at least have gotten up here and said, this isn't even us clicking on all cylinders. This is us as a work in progress. And changes will be made and progression will be made as well. That's just the overall feeling that I've always had. And honestly, I would give credit, to answer your question, I would give all credit to Ainge Postecoglou, because you could say by appointing Christian Romero as a vice captain, a lot of people had doubts. Oh, that's not going to make him a better leader. He doesn't have captain qualities. That's what they said about Sonny as well. But at the same time, Ainge's choices are just always yet again proving people wrong, in my opinion. And I think that's a good thing to see. It's a good thing to see as a fan. Players like Romero, and you could argue, he's 25. He's up there in regards to age and seniority as far as like a footballer. So there's a respect that he's going to command now as that vice captain. Who's the first person that got the armband when Sonny left? We saw it last time, it was Maddison, but this time it was Romero, and I think we'll see it alternate like that. And I mean, I'm so happy for the guy. I know Mia's happy for him. I know every Spurs fan around the world is happy for Christian Romero, because whether you were hard on him last season and critical of his decision makings last season, or you were like me and just saying, I know he's got it in there, he's just not showing it right now. Regardless of where you were, this is a great time to be a Spurs fan, because I mean, when you have a center back playing like that, stepping up into his role, let alone adding goals to his game, it just let's take out his 2 goals. We would lose, I guess, to Brentford, but defensively, I thought he's just stepped it up immensely. Every tackle he lunges, people said his decision making, and he lunges in on challenges. And I would argue now, at least from what we've seen this season, whenever he does lunge in or anything of the sort, it's at least in a productive manner, like we saw today.
For sure. And look, it's testament that all 3 leaders have bloody stepped up today. You have Maddison scoring, Son scoring, Romero scoring. But, I also highlighted before about, the positions that they're in. You've got one across the back line, so everyone knows who's responsible there. One across the midfield line and one across the forward line. So everyone knows who's responsible, and they're all responsible for their part of the pitch, keeping people in check, picking people up when they're down, this, that, and the other. And it's really coming to the fore now, and you can look at it, last year you had leaders who were the ones making mistakes, blaming people, and believe me, it doesn't go down well in the dressing room. But now you've got players there, we're not making mistakes, and if they are, they're also held accountable, but they're adding to the team. They're going out there and helping us win games, which is absolutely crucial. So big up on that big Ange Postecoglou. I think he deserves a lot of credit to come in and make that big change, because he came in, he upset people that had a big sway around the club, the likes of Lloris, Dyer, people like that, and it takes a bit of balls to do it, and I don't think it's something that's talked about enough, and I think he deserves a lot of credit for it. Nick, Ellie says, there wasn't one player, by the way, big up, Ellie, I know you enjoyed that victory today, it was absolutely sweet. How good is it seeing our team back playing proper football? She says there wasn't one player who let us down, but for me, Doji was awesome, strong, powerful, won so many duels. I lost count, but I was so impressed with him. He was my man in the match. Yes, those players were brilliant, but I just love Destiny. He was quality today.
Listen, man, I got to just parrot exactly what Ellie has to say on that one, man. And I actually took the time to watch the game back over again, man. His understanding of the physics of the ball itself and where it's going to be in the next millisecond after an opponent has made his play. That's what I'm so impressed about. And you know what? The previous match he played, he had a couple mistakes. 2 games before that, I was looking, I could not find a foot the kid put wrong. This is another match where it's just he knows exactly what he's doing and exactly what everybody else is doing. Maddison's goal, unbelievable. But as soon as that ball came to him, and I said, no, you don't give Maddison that much space.
Yeah,
that's done.
exactly.
It's done. But the brilliance was Adogi and the guy he was up against had given up on the play already. He thought the ball was going out. Adogi says no. He turns around, puts his back to him, lets it drop right in front of him. Man, I don't. The kid does things that are thought process moves that you rarely see, and I just got to give him a lot of credit for that goal as well, man.
But Nick, also just to follow up on that, my man, how clean is his defending? You know, the timing of his tackle, man, it's absolutely sensational.
You know, that left-hand side has gone from a shambles into completely locked down with Van de Ven and Adogi. But we'll get into Van de Ven a little bit too. I got a couple of concerns. They're not huge concerns, but I got a couple of little concerns about.
But look, air them now, Nick. What's the concerns?
As you go back, you're going to see that he's been involved in 4 of the goals that we've conceded. I think it's at least 4 of the goals that we've conceded since the beginning of the year. And he gets really, really, really tight to his defender, to the man he's marking in particular. I'm feeling that teams that like to rush into the box, just like we do, is when things become really, really dangerous. And particularly for their first goal, it was definitely Porro who let his man slip out of his reach. But Van de Ven was right on top of the goal scorer. And it was practically, I think he was a little bit afraid that he was going to get a repeat of a deflection off his own foot, that he didn't make the challenge before the guy actually stuck his foot out. I think that he needs to start, being a little more comfortable with that, maybe stepping a step or 2 away so that he's not too glued directly on top of him. It's something that I think is really going to be worked out of his game going forward with this system. But he is called on to do a lot of sprinting, which we know he does well. So he's going to have to learn to stop himself and think a little bit further ahead. But this is stuff that I know. This guy's got the talent; he can work that stuff out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Can I say that on top of that, with Van de Ven, I felt like that. I see that from him, Nick, and I agree with you. You see that from him though when he's covering on the opposite side of the pitch. When he's on the other, when he's the rescue guy on the left-hand side, he's absolutely phenomenal. And there was a few times in the first half when they were still putting up that fight versus us, which teams have tried to do in the first, 30, 40 minutes of a match. They tried to. Hats off to them. But Van de Ven was able to clean up on that left side a lot more cleaner and more confidently. And I think it might be what you're saying. He's got the own goal. Some people want to give him 2 own goals. Technically, he only has 1. But I just think that that will come out of his game. So I agree with you, Nick. I just want to point out on the left-hand side, he's a lot more clean.
Absolutely. You'll find that every single one of those goals that he had an involvement in is that exact same scenario where he's forced to cross over and play cover. The last goal that we conceded towards the end too, basically both of them switch off, both Romero and Van de Ven. Yeah. Romero lets his man get past him, and Van de Ven has to make a late dash towards the right-hand side. So you spot on. That's something that Ange probably has to work out.
Also, if I could quickly give one thing about Romero, sorry, not Romero, but Udoji, and also it's the same thing with Papesar and Bissouma. And sorry, because I don't have a shoe with me, so I will just use this. This is the shoe that I have, right? So basically, imagine this is the left side, and this is the right side. Sometimes they do this amazing thing when the ball comes off to them, and they just do this quick move with the ball, and they knock it past the guy that's running behind them. I love it. I absolutely love this technique because they receive the ball with the back towards the opposition goal, and with one swift move, they basically just scoop it over the guy that's running behind them. And both Sar, Bissouma, and Udoji are brilliant at this. I've seen them do it plenty of times, and Maddison also, right? Yeah. But it's so important because football, dribbling and getting past one of the opposition players is so important when you want to break things down, right?
Yeah.
Because when the team is sitting in their shape, right, it's so hard to break down a team that's sitting in their shape. But when you get past someone, that person is pretty much out of the picture, right? Unless they have like amazing recovery pace and they just sprint back against you and tackle the ball off you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, that person is usually out of the game. So now you have numerical advantage. Now you can, do some intriguing passes. And I love the fact that our midfield and Destiny, they are all of them. They are so good at it. They just getting past the defender with one swift move. Amazing.
That's the thing with Destiny and Doji as well. He gives you both sides of the game. We spoke about how strong he is, the timing of the tackle, but he can link up with people and he can also take people on as well. He's very, very silky on the ball, the way he moves it. He's absolutely brilliant, Ellie. I'm already in love with him. He's absolutely quality. Big up, Ellie. You're absolutely pulled out a great. I think Jack mentioned that in the watch along today as well. He was like a bit harsh on Doji not being in the man of the match, but he didn't score at the end of the day, but everyone else did. But he was absolutely outstanding today, Ellie. Well spotted. By
the way, I got those two at Bovington in UK. So if anyone wants those, I recommend visiting.
Quality.
Amazing museum.
Absolutely quality. Absolutely quality. Mia, I want to bring you in. So Mia, obviously, look, we started off, sort of slow. For the first 20 minutes, Brighton sort of Burnley got at us, pressed us. We found it a bit difficult. We found ourselves 1-0 down very, very quickly within inside 5 minutes. How good of a game was today to test the character of that team, especially the first 11, especially after knowing what happened Tuesday night with us going out of the cup? They went 1-0 down today. They could have easily crumbled, but they didn't.
Yeah, even though it is a different team, you're right, it could have played on their minds, and it really didn't. We just carried on playing our game. After they scored that goal, I felt like they just went very off the boil and very quiet, to be honest with you. That's when we started a little bit more getting hold of the ball a bit more. And then when we scored, that was it. They just lost it a little bit. So, yeah, of course, it was a massive test to them because they could have just gone on and thought, we're 1-0 down and got, a bit funny and down the dumps about it. And we never stop in it. So it doesn't matter because his philosophy is 1-0 down, 2-0 down. It don't matter. You don't stop. You carry on playing my way, and I think that's what we did. Even sometimes you saw the player had a good idea. They made a good pass. It didn't come off, but he still clapped them for the idea of actually trying to do the things that he wants. And that's what you need. You need them to continue to keep doing it, so that just becomes natural to them because it is still work in progress. So, yeah, I think actually they did really well. And then, obviously, getting that second goal really helped us when we come out in the second half because we was already 2-1 up and they didn't look. They made those changes and we was all over them. We were absolutely all over them for that first, 15, 20 minutes of that second half. We were absolutely... No, they had no way out. We was just literally getting the ball back. So, yeah, they didn't really do that much.
No, I was absolutely delighted with the sort of the calmness in the moment they showed. They didn't crumble, they just got back on with the jobs and ploughed away. And it ended up leading to total domination, which you're absolutely correct on, Mia. I was absolutely buzzing with it. Just quickly, look, I don't really know what's spilling out from whatever other channel you guys were on in the chat and what's spilling over in here. We're after winning 5-2. Just give it a rest. Just call it a truce and let's just get on with it. Come on, guys. We won today. Let's not rip each other apart. We're better than this. We're Tottenham Hotspur. Now's the day to flex about being a Tottenham fan, not ripping each other down.
I think there was a bit of a gooner infestation as well there, Dave.
Okay. Is it gone now?
Yeah, pretty much. So some level-headed people and then some people that followed in after them.
Okay. Any gooners, you're not welcome. I'm only going to troll you anyway, so don't bother. Ellie also says, if Højbjerg leave, guys, I'll be called Queen Ellie Destiny for sure. I've adopted the kid. What do you think?
You should. I think she should do it absolutely because Højbjerg, he's on the bench now, so you might as well support someone who's actually decent in Destiny.
Oh, I want to
Oh.
dance with Udoji. Oh, it's quality.
She knows how much. She knows that my feelings in. But honestly, I've got nothing against the guy. He's just not good enough for Tottenham, and the fact that he thought he wasn't Fulham's level just tells you everything you need to know. When he gave a free kick away today, and you're just like, you think you're not Fulham level? Come on now, honestly.
I just think.
Go on, Michael.
Yeah, I just think that he just doesn't suit the system right now.
It doesn't.
With content, Mourinho, you could argue that he actually quite suited the system. I know his performances were up and down, but sometimes he was really good, right? But right now he's too slow. He's not progressive enough. He doesn't carry the ball. Like, he doesn't fit the midfield profile that we have right now. And listen, nothing against the guy, but as you said, I think he won't find a place in the starting 11 in this team unless, like, touch wood, someone gets injured, right? From the starting 11, but otherwise I can see more of a role for him than sitting on the bench.
He preferred to sit on the bench than he did to go to Fulham, Michael, because he thought he was too good for Fulham. He turned Fulham down. That's why I just think it frustrates me when players feel like they're too good for teams. We've got too many of those in our team who think they're too good, who didn't want the moves. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and I can't wait for them to go. I really can't. J. Cole says, imagine Solomon and Johnson on the wing, Sonny in the middle. Is there a possibility we could see this next game? Look, I thought Kulu done all right today, but ultimately I thought he was the worst out of the front three. Nick, you're saying
Yeah, I mean, I think we could see it, but I was just following your take on Kulu. I actually thought he had a damn good game. I thought that aside from any real attacking output, I think he was it was a little unlucky for him not to get an assist. I think up and down that right hand side for a good spell of particularly the second half, man, he was really the one instigating anything that came down the right hand side. Usually he's solid defensively, but he was able to push forward. Now, we do have to be measured. It is a newly promoted team. It's Burnley. They don't have the best defensive solidity, and we've seen it. We just witnessed it right now. But he needs a hell of a lot more confidence too. I don't know. A lot of people were saying too. Listen, we just signed Johnson. He better start turning up, Kulu. I think the best thing for him right now may be that kind of competition. And we've seen now with what you brought up with Ange and captaincy and making 3 different captains. I've never really seen that before. Captains, vice captains, whatever you want to call it. I think it's evenly spread. We know that Ange thinks out the box and he's willing to try things. And I think what he did today with taking Richie out, putting Sonny in the middle, was a statement about his intent and about him living up to his word, and that he will make the changes that he feels necessary. He will rotate players within games, game to game, if he feels it's necessary.
Yeah.
Also,
go on.
Yeah, also, I wanted to give a little shout out to Solly today because I thought Solomon was really good. I thought he made some brilliant runs.
Assists.
He did 2 assists, I thought he was really, really good today. And I've been saying I want to see a bit more Solomon, so I was really pleased to see he got some time today. And I think he made good use of it. And I think he showed what else he can offer, because he does offer something a bit different on that side.
Do you know what?
I really enjoyed watching him.
Do you know what I mean? I didn't realize how quick he was. At one stage there, he sort of, he was put in behind. He was gone. I didn't realize how rapid he was.
Yeah, he is rapid. He is a little rapid player. But yeah, definitely, I really like him. I'd definitely like to see a bit more of Solomon.
I thought maybe for the first, I thought for the majority of the first half, I thought his decision making was a bit off. But once he got that assist, he sort of found his confidence, settled in, and I thought then you seen the real Solomon, getting on the ball, driving at people, wanting to take people on. But I mean, Michael, you had your hand up there, but how much of a breath of fresh air is it to see players that actually want to get on the ball, take people on, and make things happen compared to all the sideways, back and forth, people shirking responsibility and just passing it left to right like we've seen last year?
Yeah, it's like first thing, like with the wingers, right? I completely back what you said about Solomon. I think like first 30 minutes, 40 minutes of the first half, right? I think like he didn't really find his groove. I think some of the balls were kind of like bouncing off him. His passing wasn't really on point, but he really grew into the game, which I really appreciate. That he found his rhythm, he found his like way to the passes, etc. But one thing I want to say about Kulu, because I know like it's hard to compare the guy to the other like 2 out of the front 3, because Sonny scored 3 goals and Solomon got 2 assists and Kulu ended up without like any numbers, right? But I think that Kulu does a lot of like, I would say, ungrateful work. If like, for the lack of a better word, I think that he does a lot of the defending. He does a lot of running back. He does a lot of covering. He's involved in the build-up play, but sometimes it doesn't show in the numbers, right? He won't be the person assisting the goal scorer, but he will be the person that starts the move, for example, right? And I listen. I completely get the argument of, listen, he's a forward. He has to score. He has to assist, etc., etc., right? And I get that, right? His primary job is scoring goals and assisting goals. But I can appreciate the other part of the spectrum that he does, right? The other part of his role that he's responsible, right? He is not the guy that just stays in front and that doesn't care about coming back. He works his ass off, and I think that's appreciated. I think that people calling for him to be like immediately dropped because of Brennan Johnson. I don't think, first of all, it should work like that. I think that Johnson should fight for his place. This will also like light a fire up Kulusevski's ass, that someone is there to take his place, right? But I also think that Brennan Johnson offers us something different than Kulusevski, so that I don't think that we should play one and not the other, right? I don't think it should be one starting every single game and the other one coming off the bench. I think we should utilize their different assets in different game, right? I think against City, for example, Brennan Johnson might be better because of his like soaring pace, that he will, whenever we like launch the ball after they pressure us, he will be faster than Kulusevski. But against low block teams, I think Kulusevski might be better because of his like intricate passing and creativity, etc. Right? So that's how I look at things, right?
Yeah. Look, I think you're onto something there for sure. But it does look like, Jacob, that Sonny, whatever it is, he's going to be the one spearheading that attack. Ange Postecoglou made the big call today. I was surprised that he moved him off the left and brought Solomon in. But he bagged a hat-trick today, and it looks like, that's the role that suits him. Brave call by Postecoglou today to drop Richarlison, bring in Son, but so we asked for people to stand up and be counted, and Son not done that today. Of course, a hat-trick. Most people are giving him 10s in their player ratings. How good was he today, Jacob? And how much did you enjoy the hat-trick, by the way?
How did I enjoy the hat-trick? I think I texted some people off air. I don't want to be TMI, but if I said I needed a new change of shorts, that would be an understatement. The man was absolutely on fire. Honestly, his first goal was so composed, like he had just scored a hat trick the game before, the way he scored that first little chip. And honestly, like, if I could be candid with all of y'all right now, whoever's watching and y'all on the panel, I was texting Michael and I said, between you and I, bro, I want to cry right now for Son. Like, that makes me feel so good, because I felt like from week 1 to the last match before Fulham, the first 3 matches, I was like, he's progressively gotten better, but he hasn't affected the scoring sheet. And so I was just really wanting to see more, because I said, yes, he's been better, but I need more. As a person who always gets up here and defends Sonny in every facet, I felt like I still needed more in order for me. I need more evidence, Your Honor, in order to defend the defendant here, being Son. And, criticism is fair, but when you look at what he did today, through the middle from the jump, this was something, Dave, I think I've gotten on this post-game show. I know I've done it on my channel as well. I've gone and said, give Richie 3 starts up the middle, and if he doesn't do anything with it, give me Son up the middle. And I know I'm not alone. That's not a foreign idea. There's hundreds of thousands of other fans who said the same exact thing. And I think
was it harsh to drop Richie today, though, Jacob?
Absolutely not.
No, why?
Absolutely not. Because outside of that goal versus Fulham, He didn't do anything. We did that when they had their best man on the pitch when he was changing his tires. You know what I mean? We nicked the win, or not the win. We nicked the goal at an opportune moment, and I'm glad that we did. That shows we were able to pounce when we had the opportunity. But you still got to affect the game more. And obviously, his contribution wasn't enough. And I think even without the Fulham, I look at the Premier League matches. While Kulusevski and Son were both starting out meh, then they progressively got better with each match. Kulu got his goal versus Bournemouth. Sonny got his hat trick today. It's showing that they're getting the system. And that's all that I've wanted to see, because we've always said once we had all facets of the game clicking, that things were going to look miles different and better. And I know it's Burnley. I know we don't want to get too... but either way you look at it, regardless of opponent... the way and the fashion and the style in which we went about. We went down a goal and fought back to go 4-1, 5-1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That shows us that at no point do we lose faith in what we were doing. The one y'all were talking about Solomon earlier, and there were some points that I wanted to say as well that I guess y'all were making as well, that he didn't start well. He had a couple passes and decision making. Son was in the middle, and he was very vocal, and you could tell he was like here, and then it happened another time with another player in the ball, and he wanted to pass. So Sonny's being a vocal leader, something as well. People, I know I'm kind of going back to your initial question about Son through the middle, but he's being that vocal presence that I think a lot of people had concerns about going into him having captaincy. And again, all I've asked at every step of the way is people to answer questions that we're making of them. You know, let's not forget Vicario had a couple of great saves there in the second half that really kept us in it. You know what I mean? Like, there's players continually answering questions that I think us as fans are having, and that's just music to everyone's ears, no matter what side of any argument. I know I've been shameless. I was on another channel, and I was being absolutely shameless about people's and their opinions on Sonny. And at the end of the day, I think it's just something we can all come together and enjoy, is the style and the manner in which we're going out there and handling business. If we can keep doing this, I mean, we've done it thus far with this starting 11. I know we're not talking about depth right now, but Sonny through the middle, there's no way you change it going forward. Absolutely no way.
Interesting. We'll go to Nick. We'll let everyone come in on Sonny for sure. Nick, my man, look, Sonny, captain, led the line today, scored a hat-trick. Why do you think he suits the striker role so much more better than Richarlison?
You see the guy sitting behind me right there? You see the look on his face? Does he look like he's past it? Does he look like he can't do it anymore? Does he look like he's not a leader? Doesn't look like that to me. Looks like a smooth dude with a good attitude. That's what he looks like to me. But you know what? There's been a lot of talk about the sacrificial lamb role, you know, but before the season started, and how Ange uses his strikers in that regard. There's so much about Sonny's game and his game now that he's gotten older that he's lost the pace, and he doesn't take on his man the same way on the left-hand side. But what he's got as far as clinicism, obviously we know he's had for a long time, two-footed, and just the experience of it that fits into this so perfectly. You know, Postecoglou had to do it now. He had to make this change, get Richie out of there, and put Son in right now, because it just makes a hell of a lot of sense. Even if possibly somebody in the background was telling him, no, look, I want to still try to get the best out of my $60 million investment. No, you got to play Richie. I have a feeling there may be a little bit of that going on over the last couple of weeks, but it just makes too much sense not to play Son this way. And we got to ask ourselves, if he would have started Richarlison, what would the scoreline have been? You know, would Richarlison have gotten a hat trick? Absolutely not. No way. You could see when he got on, he was still looking lost. You know, he was still not making the runs in time. I mean, the timing of Son's runs alone really just throws off defenders to such a degree that it opens up space. What I'm really interested to see, you know, going back to where you were talking about in your pre-match pump up and the loss of Kane and how that affects Son's game, I'm really seeing a whole lot between Maddison and Son right now that really can take up a lot of that space right now. They know, because they're both seasoned professionals right now with extreme amounts of talent. They know what they're going to do. Maddison is used to working with high quality strikers. too. So he knows what their positions are, and especially ones that don't do, that aren't all action, that wait for their time and wait for their chance. He's going to be able to work with that well. The last thing I would say is, a lot of people were worried about Son's press. I wasn't worried about it at all today. I like it a lot. Now, he doesn't do the frantic headless chicken press all up in your face constantly, but he looked for his right time to put the pressure on the goalkeeper or the back line. And I thought it was very effective. And he kept their goalkeeper, thinking about what was going to happen next.
You reminded me of something, Nick, that he was doing with that pressing, that I was like, oh, that's actually kind of interesting, the different styles in which Richie presses versus how Sonny presses.
Yep.
And Sonny almost does that, baiting you into thinking you have time and space.
Yes,
and then he turns the jets on. Like he's kind of slow trotting, almost at a walking pace, and then it's bang, and he goes. And it's different, whereas Richie, he doesn't have that burst and that acceleration that Sonny has. So his press does look like a little bit more just rambunctious in your face.
Waving his arms.
Hey, don't pass it over there.
Yeah. It's interesting that you bring that up, man, because that reminds me of something that's the polar opposite that we can get into later about Sick Vic and his method of playing the ball out. And I got a question for you guys on it, on whether or not this is intentional or not.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll jump right into it. So is he baiting?
Quickly, one thing I wanted to say about Son, right? His first finish, I don't know if you guys know this meme from YouTube. There is this guy, like British YouTuber, his name is Pieface, like a bit of a chubby guy. And there is this one
FIFA
meme
guy,
with
right?
him. FIFA guy. There is this one meme with him when he shoots a penalty and he says, "It's in the fucking veins, mate." That was exactly Sonny today when he scored the first goal. Jesus, I needed like a change of pants today after that, right? And then Romero bomb, so I wasted two pairs of pants in the first half only, right?
Guys, guys, I don't need to know these things,
The washing machine working double this weekend. Let's put it that
way. But look, Nick, ask me your question. We'll let me
getting into Vicario. I thought he actually, my opinion, had a shot for fourth man of the match, man. I thought he had an excellent game. Any shot from outside of the box, I had no concern. He was going the right way. It looked like he was all over it. And then when it was squeaky bum time and they got close to him, man, he was in front of everything. What I'm wondering about is this way. It looks like he's baiting his attackers to come at him. He's taking a little more time on the ball because he wants to draw them in. He wants to spread people out, and he's excellent at it. And they're falling for it every time. I mean, how long is this going to go on where they keep falling for it? And is that a thing? I really didn't know. I've never really seen that before.
Yeah.
That's kind of how the style lends itself to being this new era of goalkeepers being involved in the build-up, the defense, and the attack. I mean, Ederson, if you watch City matches, anyone who watches American football, he's launching just passes. He's just throwing it deep to his man, and you know what? They've got quality at the end of it, so they can get it done like that. With Vicario, I think it's a little bit of, yes, he is doing that. You almost answered your own question with, he does that pulls him out, that pulls a man out of position to, quite frankly, open up space for everyone else. So for me, watching it as a goalkeeper who did not I'm an old school keeper. Don't pass me the ball. Hopefully the coach will get mad at you if you pass me the ball. Don't pass it back here. And nowadays it is the change of the way games are played and teams line up. They use the goalkeeper as an extra man back there, whether it be the back line or to help with the midfield. So it was nerve-wracking, as a goalkeeper, because I'm like imagining if the ball's coming into my feet as I'm at the top of the box, you know what I mean? I'm not comfortable there as a goalkeeper, but I like to see it from him. He didn't look out of his own depths when he was doing it at all.
Do you know what? Just on that quickly for me. Look, it's what it basically does is it frees up a passing option out at the back line for you. So then you can use that, give it to that guy, and then he transitions it into the midfield. And basically, so once that whoever's closest to Vicario, right, Nicky goes to press him. So that leaves either Romero, Van der Ven, Doji, or Porro free. So then that's where that ball goes. The next person presses that frees up someone in midfield. pops it in there. All of a sudden, they're all drawn up nice and high. We're in, but we're in at their back line, and that's what it's designed to do. That's the whole sort of thinking around it. So it's very clever. It's very clever. I do want to come back to that though, Nick. So just bear that in mind. Mia, I wanted to let you in on Sonny just quickly. Skunkwork says, can we have an honest conversation? Sonny still has this in him, no doubt, but his consistency has and still is a real concern. He had a hat-trick last year too. Does Skunkworks have a point? Are we getting too carried away?
No, because I feel like that we've seen that he's gradually got better over the last few games. You could see that he was gradually getting there. Sorry. You could see that he was getting there, and the only thing that he was really missing was goals. So I don't think that at all, because his best season for me that he had wasn't his golden boot season. It's when he was playing down the middle, when Harry Kane wasn't there. So I feel like that was probably his best season, Sonny. So if we keep him in this position, I feel like this is a really good thing for him, and I feel like he can definitely play in that position and do a really, really good job. So I'm not concerned, no, because I felt like the last few games, the only thing was missing was his goals. And now, how many times has Sonny got goals and then that's it? He boom, boom, boom. Every single game he puts them in. We've had that so many times with Sonny. It's like, you know, he tends to do that. So now he scored a hat-trick. I've got no doubt that he will carry on scoring, in my opinion.
If I can touch on the Sonny subject a little bit, if I may, I want to say that just honestly, I don't think it's too soon to get high on a guy in which you know what he can bring to the table when he's playing in a system in which suits his gameplay. I would say this as well. When you judge Sonny, anybody who's ever said, you know, there's people who say Son is world class, some who say that he's not world class, based on your definition of the word. But what no one can debate is that throughout Sonny's career, he hasn't shown that he is world class at finishing, specifically finishing his dinner. When the goal, whether it's outside the box, inside the box, when he has the ball at his feet, he has a very high chance to finish it and give it a goal. So I always thought, even based on the preseason where Richarlison was at and where he was trying to get fed the ball, if you put Sonny there, he has a higher probability of putting one in the back of the net than Richarlison. That's just how I felt as a casual fan. And so naturally, when it happens and you see it from the beginning of a match, when all of his touches are in and around the attacking half, I mean, the runs he was making was absolutely sublime. So he's not only showing that he's world class at finishing, but that he still has the pace to get behind the line and really wreak havoc. And I mean, I know it's Burnley, but if he can do a third of what he did today to a top 6 team, that's still a major contribution that we're not getting from that position at this juncture. So I'm not concerned about his consistency. If he can stay healthy, then I'm not concerned about his consistency. I mean, he had a double hernia last season and was playing through it. Now, whose fault that is that he was playing through that kind of a thing, that's another debate. But Sonny, for me, never had a concern, never had a worry. It's just nice to see that it's happening, and long may it continue. Because if he can stay healthy, I think your worries about his consistency will slowly diminish.
There is also like one thing I think needs to be stated with Sonny, and that is that like majority of wingers in the Premier League, unless you are Mo Salah pretty much, right? Majority of the wingers at their best score between 10 to 15 goals, right? And the thing with wingers is that they don't contribute to goals maybe that much, but they contribute to the game, right? They link up play, they facilitate the strikers, they help the central attacking mids with the ball progression, etc., right? And I think that we need to appreciate Son's work in those aspects, not only the goal scoring, right? It's completely normal that we expect Son to score goals, right? But I think we also need to appreciate all the work, similar to Kulusevski, similar to the point that I made about him. I think we need to appreciate the work that he does other than that, right? And I think that also we need to have a look at like the type of performances that he had last season and this season. Yes, like he scored a hat-trick against Leicester, but the previous games, like before that hat-trick against Leicester in like game week 9, I think it was, and the games after that when he wasn't scoring really that much, right? I think his performances weren't also the greatest, right? He was doing his work defensively. He was kind of contributing to the attack, but there was no spark in him. He kept losing the balls from time to time. His passing wasn't on point. And this was the thing that made people like furious with Son, right? Whereas right now, I want to like stress it. If Son doesn't score against Sheffield, it's not bad if he puts performances like he did against Bournemouth, like he did against Manchester United, right? The goal that the goal that Kulusevski scored of Destiny's assist was made by Son. The Son put the through ball to Udogie, who assisted Kulusevski, right? This is also important, and I think it's not the end of the world if Son doesn't score another hat-trick against Sheffield, right? If he contributes to the game, it's good. And if he ends this season with like 10 goals and 10 assists, or I don't know, like 12 goals and 8 assists, those are amazing numbers for a winger still, right? I know that he has the potential to score 23 like he showed us once. And maybe if he keeps playing through the middle, he will become more of a goal scorer. But I really appreciate in those 4 matches that we saw, I really appreciate not only the finishing, but also the build-up play, the linking up, passing, even as Dave said, even the leadership part, right? When he's like screaming at someone, pass it here, pass it here, pass it there, you run here, like you go back. It's so important in a guy like him to have the experience and to have the leadership that he presents, right? So listen, if he doesn't score against Sheffield, it's not the end of the world, right?
Yeah, look, it's not, but we'll wait and see. I think he will score for sure. DG says, what a game. Watched it whilst playing golf today. I hope I didn't piss anyone off with each goal. Hope you're all keeping well. Cheers. I wouldn't say you're very popular around that golf club today. That means at least 5 holes you've absolutely ruined for people out there today, my man. So fair play to you. But that's what it's about, being a Spurs fan. Everyone hates us, so we're going to ruin all of their days, especially when we win, my man. So that's what I'm talking about. But seriously, hopefully you had a great day out golfing. And hopefully you enjoyed yourself, my man. Big yourself up. Nick, anything you want to do
you know what? There's actually a golf course where I walk the dog. And one guy, he was looking at the dog and he asked his name. And I said, his name's Ozzy. And he was like, Tottenham supporter. So he was a fellow Tottenham supporter who's playing golf. I was like, yes, mate. Love it. So, yeah, it's quite good sometimes when you walk past. Some of them are a bit moody, don't particularly want you to like. I'm quite respectful, but some of them can be really funny. But other ones, they're really lovely and they want to say hello to the dog. So, yeah, you do get some nice people up on the old golf course sometimes.
Quality. We might need a bit of backup, so make sure you get a kit for Ozzy. We might need a backup for sure. Nick, anything you want to say to DG?
Look, man, you know what? Golf has never been my game, but you know what? You got to make it interesting because you got a lot of time out in the sun right there. So don't worry about people getting pissed off, yelling. When you go, goal, they're just going to think that, they did something good, man. It's going to spice it up for them a little bit, man. So don't worry about it.
You're probably going to have to change the rules around there now for you, DG. Big yourself up, my man. I really appreciate the support. Any hole-in-ones, though, let me know. And then Ellie says Sonny is back. Go on.
Yeah, can you imagine, though, shouting goal as someone's about to tee off and it completely dig up the grass? That is not good.
It makes the game a heck of a lot more interesting is what it does.
I'd be absolutely fuming if someone was putting me off my shot. Fuming. Ellie, big up Ellie. She says Son is back and Solomon was hot on the wing. And look, we'll throw this one to you, Nick, or we'll go to you. Oh, do you need to go?
I'm good.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
Throw this one to you, Nick. I think King Huddle made the point earlier on in the chat that if you take Sonny off the left, you have to have someone with the creativity on that side. Is Solomon that guy?
I'm not 100% convinced at that, which is why I like the idea more and more now. I'm done with the Richie experiment. Coming off the bench, I think it's a good idea. We got an international break coming up. Maybe he can score a couple for Brazil, but you're starting Son again against Sheffield United. I like the idea of having Perisic and Solomon as an option on there. two very different players with very different tools in their bag right there. And, you know, I saw Maddison getting a little bit frustrated with Solomon, especially in the first half. He needs more time with these players. Certainly, he's got to, you know, kind of work his way into being comfortable with the movement, particularly of Maddison, because it's basically Maddison's world up there, and you got to work around him and work with him. I think Perisic does that already very well. He knows where he's going to be, and he's got no problem going down to the byline. You know, I forget who put it in here right now, but, you know, Sonny should not be allowed to go down to the byline. I think that makes a lot of sense, man. Right now, his best position is trying to score goals, waiting for his opportunity and putting them in the back of the net, which obviously we know he's still got. You know, Solomon, I'm not over the moon. I'm not 100% sold, but I see a lot of good things in there. The fact that we got Perisic there as an option, I think, is really only to the benefit, man. Yeah. And I'd like to see interchange of both. Start one, the other off the bench, start the other, vice versa.
And look, this is the great thing about it. You know, you've got options on both wings now. You can take players in and out. You can play one on the left 1 week, one on the right the next week. You know, that's the great thing about it, the options. So, look, Ellie, big up. Really appreciate support. Solomon was good today. I have to give him that. You know, coming off the ballpark with 2 assists. You know, I don't know anyone that's ever been unhappy with that, Ellie. So, absolutely love it. But look, guys, I want to move on to James Maddison just quickly. The impact this guy has had since he's joined Tottenham. I'll be honest. I knew he was an effective player, but I actually didn't realize how good he was. He just doesn't lose the ball, you know, and he's the biggest risk taker on the team. Takes players on, plays balls in behind, switches play, has shots, you know, but he just doesn't. He crosses the ball. He just doesn't lose it. He does not lose it. Everything he does is precise, and I absolutely love it. I didn't think I was going to enjoy Maddison this much because I originally would have preferred Pedro Gonçalves in here, but I'm surprised how good Maddison has been. And we'll start with you on this one, Mia, and we'll let everyone in on this. Is Maddison our best summer signing or the most impactful? Or is that harsh to say, considering Van de Ven has had an impact, but, you know, in a different area, maybe not a glamorous area, same as Vicario?
Yeah, I understand with Vicario and Van de Ven that obviously they're very good signings, but Maddison just offers something special. Like, he's just got those twinkle toes, the way he can dance through players, the things that he can do, like when he his vision, his intelligence, all of it. I myself had a little bit of doubts about him and his attitude, but I'm going to say right here now, I've actually fallen completely for Madders. I love him. I love his cheeky sense of humour and his little attitude that he's got, but he's also really lovely, like with the fans. He goes over, claps them, you know. He's very good when he talks as well. He's got a very good mannerism about him when he does talk. So I absolutely love Maddison for so many different reasons. His footballing brain and his skill, what he has to offer, absolutely amazing. And then actually as a leader, someone who's part of being the captain, I think he talks brilliantly and he seems to have really galvanised, and he has a really good relationship already with the guys. You can see when they're all doing his celebration with him. So he's a really lovable guy. And I'm absolutely bowled over by Madders, I'm not going to lie.
100%. I'm in the same camp as you, me, on that one for sure. I mean, Michael, are you surprised? Go on.
Just to confirm to Skunkworks, it's not that kind of thing with Madders. It's just the kind of person that he's. I can't help but really like him. With Romero, now you're talking different. Do you know what I mean?
Skunkworks all over in the comments. Quality. Michael, my man, me alluded to how quickly he settled in, right? What he's offered to the team, that he's already in the leadership role. Are you surprised how quickly Maddison settled in? What makes him so special?
It's kind of hard because, like, I understand where Mia comes from with the attitude, like not necessarily attitude issues, but he has that, like, a bit of snarkiness about him. Like, you know, he's a bit I'm not really sure how to put it, but it's not in the same boat as with Richarlison, that you hate playing against him, but you love when he plays for you, right? With all the like shithousery with Richarlison. But Maddison, he's really likable in my opinion. Especially like now, I think over the past like 1 year, I think he grew up a lot. Like he matured, in my opinion. I definitely think having 3 kids helps with that, right? Because I think he has a set of twins and a boy now, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe the other way around, right? But yeah, I think becoming like a father also helped him. But what I see when I look at him, I think he's really mature. He has that leadership quality in him, and he has also the quality on the pitch, right? Because when we are discussing the captaincy, for example, for before the season started, right? We weren't really sure who can like perform that role of a captain who is as good of a leader as they are good on the pitch.
Yeah.
But I think we actually found our like I want to like even broaden it to all 3, right? But especially with Maddison, I think like he shows the maturity, the leadership, but also he is a bit of a like a funny guy. He isn't really that, you know, he isn't stoic like Kane. That's one thing that my girlfriend said when we were watching today's game, right? That the difference that she sees with Maddison and Kane is that Kane, nothing like bad about it, right? But Kane always was the Mr. Perfect guy, you know, like with age came that he didn't really show like that much emotion. He wasn't like that explosive. He wasn't that like, you know, all smiley, etc. I think Kane was like the typical professional, whereas with Maddison, I see the similar qualities in terms of like quality on the pitch and leadership on the pitch and playing as a like giving an example. But also I think he's more vocal. He's more emotional. And that's why I think many of us actually like took a quick liking to him, and that's the same thing with the squad. I think the squad really likes him, and yeah. But listen, that's in terms of like his personality, but of course, like the quality on the pitch is like he's amazing. I am so
surprised how good he is.
Yes, kind of yes. Like I knew that he's really good, but it really shows that it's not only his own quality, but with all due respect to Leicester, but I think we have a better squad than Leicester, right? And it shows. I think we have like the proper footballers to elevate him even further. I think that that Leicester squad kind of lacked like a good output from the wingers. I think when Vardy got older, they lacked the clinical finisher up front. I think in the midfield, they sometimes lacked a bit of like stability. And I think we provide those things to Maddison and he can shine, right? I think he's like an amazing dribbler. His shots are really dangerous. He sees a lot of passes that I don't think many can see in this league, right? I am a bit surprised with how good he is. But that's also like in conjunction with how good I think this 11 is, right? Listen, I don't want to go overboard and say that everyone is world class, whatever, right? But I think we have a nucleus of a really good team. And I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the teamwork that's starting to show, right?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you about, you know, look, I know sometimes we could jump to conclusion and call people world class, you know, and stuff like that. But we genuinely do have the nucleus of some world class players. A lot of these guys are 25 or under. You got to remember that, you know, some of them will come true and end up being at the top of their game. Well, I hope so anyway, because that just means, you know, when me and Jack start calling Paratici the Don, I mean, you may start calling me Mystic Dave from now on. But Jacob, my man, Maddison, take it away. What's your thoughts on him overall? Tell Mystic Dave what your thoughts are.
I'll tell you this much. When he played at Leicester, I hated the guy. But he's one of those guys you hate him because he's doing you nasty, and you're like, God, this guy, you know. So I had an immediate bias against him. Now, Michael, the other half of United Spurs America, he was always, for years, he was like, if we got James Maddison, that's the midfielder we need. We get James Maddison. I was always like, he's overrated. He's a bum, you know, this and that. Just talking because obviously he liked to score against us, and I didn't like that very much. So, but as soon as he got here, he just oozed class. ballerina in the box, silky with the ball at his feet. I mean, you saw today, 2-3 defenders, doesn't matter. He's gliding in between players. Like, you have no business doing that, sir. You're not Lionel Messi, but he's out here acting and doing disgusting things on the right side of the pitch, on the left side of the pitch, down the middle. It really doesn't matter where he goes. It just seems like things will go his way. It's just one of those things. I'm enamored when I watch him. First half, when Solomon's making mistakes, and I'm like, dang, pick it up, Solomon. Who's there, trying to help get him going? It was Son, it was Maddison, it was these leaders. And so he stepped in, not only phenomenal on the pitch, but you can tell in the locker room, he's really gelling things as well. And if anything, he's ushering in the new wave into Spurs. Him and Basuma have kind of hand in hand taken that role on and ushered in the new wave within the locker room. And it's the things that we all as fans aren't lucky enough to see day by day, but I'm sure in the locker room, he is the kind of guy that we all presume him to be in the way that it appears, because he's, you know what, there's not enough nice things I could say about the guy. It's just one of those things when he's playing, when he's even with the ball not at his feet. Now, when it is at his feet, it's one of those you just can't watch. You can't look away. I can't not watch this. Like, what is he doing? And, sometimes I'll look, where's this player? How are they making their runs? Where are we positionally? But it's when he's involved, it's just one of those things you just sit back and watch. And again, I go back to this thing that we've always said, it takes more than one player to replace Harry Kane. Now, Dave, I know this is a sensitive subject with you, so I'm gonna be Maddison in the box.
I haven't watched one Bayern game, lad.
I didn't watch today, but I've watched every other one personally.
So you've watched more games than me.
I can't let go. I don't want to let go. But honestly, too hyped about today. Didn't even care that he played Bayern. Didn't watch Bayern. I was too busy listening to podcasts, just screaming about Son in my living room. My wife has heard enough, but I mean, my son, I'm sure he has as well. But I've been screaming all morning. So, but James Maddison, I've said that he could be one half of the equation when we look at it takes two players to replace Kane. He's the other half. Who's going to be the other half? Is it now Sonny to fulfill the striker role, and they make up that nucleus that they fill the hole that we needed filled? I don't know, but it sure looked good today. And if we could do that and continue to build on that, now I think with Brennan Johnson coming in, it adds another just vital tool into something that was beginning to be sharpened on its own, because we've been progressively getting better in the front three, but it has been arguably our weakest area in the Premier League. And you know what? If that's our worst problem, and we solved it like that, shoot, we're a problem. And I've said we're going to be a problem from the beginning, but that was just because of Ainge and his unpredictability. I think lends itself to be a problem for people naturally. But James Maddison, you look at the money spent, and you look at the money spent on some other guys. Like, I know they play slightly different positions, but Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, I don't even know what position Kai Havertz plays personally. But when you look at they went for ostensibly double what Maddison went, because Maddison, let's remember, we saying winks the other way for 9 with the potential of 12. So that's you get Maddison for 30 mil, and look at what he's done. I mean, him and Basuma. Anyone saying Paratici's not the Don right now, they need to maybe take a walk outside and reevaluate things, because a lot of the business is shaping up in a manner in which is exactly, just take some pride in it. The guys who
try telling you.
Yeah, take some pride in it, man. That's what I'm saying. Be shameless. Be shameless. Be absolutely shameless. At least how I feel about Son and Romero, and rivals, and some Spurs fans started to doubt. But it's one of those things when you feel a certain way. Dave, what told you that Paratici is the Dom? Was it your gut? Because for me, my gut leads me in all type of directions, and it's just nice to be relish in it.
Look, I just look at the players that he brought to Juventus. I looked into the recruitment, also some of the young recruitment he done, and I said if he can bring that to Tottenham, more so the younger recruitment, because I'm not naive to know we won't be getting the likes of Ronaldo's and stuff like that. Tottenham will be cooking. And look, here we are. Sometimes, look, you just got to look into things. You got to go and do a bit of research, and you got to, block out all the other opinions and make your own opinion up on it. That's what I would say. But look,
can we also do it? Can we also do a shout out to those other poor teams who paid so much money, ridiculous money for midfielders, and we got Maddison, man, for absolute bargain.
Yeah. Let's just put it into perspective, guys. We got Bentancur, Maddison, and Bissouma for less than United paid for Mount or similar price. Just let that sink in.
But
They paid 70 million for that idiot. Like,
I've also argued it to the Steve Hitchen recruitment. A lot of people gave Steve Hitchen a free pass. It's Levy that is the reason he's holding Steve Hitchen back. Steve Hitchen brought in Lo Celso and Ndombele. Look what he paid for them. Look what we've paid for Maddison, Bissouma, Papa Matasar, even if you want to throw him in there and be generous.
Throw him in there.
You know, and who's the other one?
Destiny.
But like you look what we've paid for them. Bentancur, you look what we've paid for them. Look at the talent ID, night and day. But look, I'm not here to gloat. My train's already left, so no one can get on it. But Nick, my man, Maddison, give me your thoughts on it, brother.
Man, I'm going to hold my hand up. I don't know if you remember 2 seasons ago when we were talking about the being starved for creativity, you know, which is what was going on essentially by the end of Mourinho, but certainly without a doubt into Conte. You know, and everybody was talking about Maddison, and I was calling him the pound shop Beckham. I didn't want to go anywhere near him. And to kind of, you know, to fill in the blanks of what Michael was talking about, he's that guy that he knows how good he is. That's what there's an arrogance about him, you know, that he knows how good he is, and he knows that there's a shitload of people out there that don't like him. But he's fine with that. He's going to keep saucing up and down the pitch the way he wants to. He does what he wants. I definitely think he is our greatest signing of this summer. I think it's really hard to argue that right now, but it's just the way he controls the ball. You just know, like after seeing him in our shirt now for this many games, I don't think he is ever going to lose the ball. And even when you think like he's waiting a little bit too long, or he maybe should have done a different pass, he then pivots and either turns out of it or just puts that extra weight on the pass where you're like, oh, wow, I wouldn't have even thought of that, man. That's how good this guy is. So it's what we've needed for so damn long, man. You know, he's Ericsson with Techers, you know?
Guys,
too soon to get the 10 on your back, though? Is it too soon for someone to buy? Michael asked me the question. He's like, I want a Maddison jersey, but I don't know if I can wear the 10 yet.
You know, listen, you know, Jacob, you know, I'm shameless, and it's on its way.
I love the new
I love it, man. I love it.
I love the new away one. I need to get my hands on it. Go on, Michael.
I had to get it.
I just saw on Reddit that apparently Galatasaray have made a deal with Davinson Sanchez for a 3-year contract. Is Turkish window still open?
Yeah, till the 15th.
Yeah.
Oh, so apparently they made a deal with us for Sanchez.
Good.
Yeah.
Bring up Alfred Dorrington next alongside Phillips. You know, but look, hopefully we can get him gone. That'd be nice. He's turned down enough moves off already. And before anyone starts, I'm not having to go about the Russia one. I understand it. But there's been others he's turned down. So I'm glad hopefully he accepts it and he's on his way out. Jason Bell says, big up, everyone. I've been saying I'm not going to judge Ange on this squad until mid-season, but I'm cautiously optimistic. I know we're going to have a bad game or 3, but the future is bright. Look, after the international break would be a true test. You got Sheffield United, then you got Arsenal, Liverpool, I think, back to back. So, you know, that'll be the real test of this team to see how good we really are. Look, I think we're going to surprise a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people really know how to handle us right now, how to sort of, you know, pin us in, push us back. I'm not sure they know how to handle it because right now, bar Tuesday night with the second string team, we've had the answers to absolutely everything, when it's been Maddison dropping in deeper to get the ball on down O'Dozie's side, when it's been Vicario beating the press with a long pass out. You know, we've got the answers so far. So it's definitely exciting, Jason Bell. But look, this brings me on to my last question, and I'll ask it to Nick and Michael because they don't have channels to plug. So I'll ask it to these two guys, and then we'll also get your man the matches. And then when we go to me and Jacob, we'll get their man the matches and find out where people can find them. Nick, we've been here before, right? You know, under Jose Mourinho, under Conte. We were top of the league under Jose. We had a good start underneath Conte last year, best start to a season ever. We were sitting up, you know, up and around the top for a while until things fell apart. You know, is it time to get carried away? Is this the real deal, or should we be a bit cautious? You know, is the warning signs already there?
You always got to proceed with caution, man. There's so much that has been fixed, though, that was a problem. You know, we all wanted more help in the depth. We all wanted more quality to deal with the personality issues as well as the talent issues in the club. I don't think we solved those problems at all, but there's a lot to look forward to, especially the fact that we don't have as many games to play. I'm of the mindset always every season, man. Wait until December to really start seeing to take the temperature of the club. You know, I mean, that's when everything started to fall apart for us last year. You know, with circumstances way outside of football. But I'm going to hold off until December before I start jumping up and down. But we've got, once this international break is over, I think Sheffield United is a fantastic game to jump right into, because we've got major competition the following weeks after that, man. So once we get through that little hump in at the end of September, beginning of November, it's time to start taking that temperature and preparing for the middle of the season and see where we are right now. But I'm liking pretty much everything I'm seeing right now.
Me now.
And Nick, give me your man of the match, my man, Jason Bell. Nick may not be getting excited just yet, but some people in the clap or in the chat, you're starting to get them happy clapping, my man. So big up, Jason Bell. Nick, who's your man of the match today, my man?
Listen, I'm going to have to go for the main man, the pride of South Korea, man. A hat trick always gets you man of the match. Plus, he's slotted right in. He's working fantastically, and he's doing the job that he's being asked to do, which is dictate, be the captain, and score goals, man. That's a man of the match performance for me, man. And I expect to see more of it.
For sure. So that's one for Sonny. Oh, why is this doing this? It's going crazy on me. But Michael, same question to you off the back of Jason Bell's super chat. Is it time to get carried away? How far do you think we can take it?
Nah, I often talk about the whole spectrum thing going from zeros to ones. I'm slightly leaning towards one right now, but I'm definitely not there yet. I on a serious note, I want to say I'm enjoying the shit out of this club, right? I am seriously, it's so strange to me how 4 games can change your approach, right? And then at the end of last season, I was in the dumps pretty much, right? I wasn't really enjoying watching us. I gladly watched other teams than us, right? Right now, I can't wait. I'm so furious that this international break is here, right? I kid you not, right? So, I want to do this one thing, which kind of like Arsenal fans did last season, when everyone was saying, "Are you in a title race?" and they were, "No, we are moving inside. No, we move in silence," right? So I'm of that opinion. I'm just moving in silence. I'm not saying we are going to do this, do that. That's putting unnecessary pressure on this team, in my opinion. I approach this season without expectations, right? Without expecting us to finish there, without expecting us to win that. And I am going to keep that mindset, because this allows me to analyze and enjoy this team without any additional, stuff, right? I can just focus purely on football, and that's what I want to see this season. I want to see some good football. I want to see us thump out some bad teams. I want us to take it to some harder opposition and show them that we aren't pushovers like we did last season, when pretty much every top 6 team and Villa and Newcastle and some others have beaten us even at our own ground. I want us to show that we are good, right? That we are a force to be reckoned with. And then after we strengthen in January and after we strengthen in the summer, I want to see this team do something, right? And then I will have my expectations. But for this season, I'm moving in silence. I'm just enjoying it. I'm enjoying the ride.
Yeah. Look. Why not? I think. Look, probably is too early to get carried away. We have to see how we get on after the international break. But I'm telling you now, if we go into the international break still sitting second, the next one, I'm getting carried away. I'm just letting people know that one now. But Michael, who's your man of the match today, my man?
It's hard not to give it to Son. I'm in a similar boat as Nick, right? If you score a hat trick, you pretty much have to get a man of the match award, right? Additionally, not only he scored the goals, but I think his overall gameplay was amazing today. But really, all of the three that you have on screen right now and Udoji, I want to throw in the boat of like just below Sony, because I think every single one of them had a good performance. I think like honestly, out of those four, it would be easier for me to pick the one who was like the worst out of the lot, which in my opinion was Poro, because he got skinned for that one goal. But that's not to take away from his amazing game after that. Like what a brilliant pass to Sonny for the one of the goals, unreal. Yeah, but it has to be Sonny, right? He was the one.
Yeah, he was absolutely outstanding. Like you said, you can't not pick him, after scoring a hat trick. Absolutely. DG says Jack's reactions are almost priceless. Honestly, Jack's eyes go when we score. They just go watch them. It's hilarious. He goes crazy. I was begging for Richie to come on and score today because I wanted Jack to explode. It was close. It was close, but they are priceless, DG, for sure. For sure. They're absolutely brilliant. They do crack me up. I had a great crack with them today on the watch along. It was good. It was good. Jacob, my man, who's your man of the match and where can people find you, buddy?
My man of the match, obviously, is Heung-min Daddy, Heung-min Hung, Heung-min the one and only apple of my eye, the man who helps me rise earliest and grind the hardest. So shout out to Heung-min's son. What a great performance. Very happy, very pleased. Again, that first goal, I just wanted to cry. So he's my man of the match for sure. But I want to give my honorable mention to Christian Romero, if I may, just because I feel like not only did he have, I like the Rom bomb, but he had the cock rocket of the century. It was absolutely phenomenal the way he stroked that ball. And honestly, he's tried it before. Last season, let's remember, he had a few of those shots coming off of corners, and they've been wayward. They've been either hitting the first person or they've been flying over the bar. And today, it did neither. And it was absolutely perfectly hit. There's not a keeper in the world that is touching that shot from Christian Romero. So, but outside of that, defensively, he's been phenomenal. I also heard last season that Christian Romero isn't good in the air. Well, check his aerial stats this season, because I think he's only missed one opportunity in the air, if I can't be mistaken. So tell me again what you're concerned about, and Christian Romero will cradle those concerns and put him to bed like a good fed little boy ready for a nap, which my son needs to go down for a nap. So sorry if you've heard him screaming. But that's my honorable mention. Romero was absolutely a dog today. Take the goal away as well. Phenomenal defending, aerially. Just makes me laugh, man. People were questioning this man in every facet, and it's just he's added goals upon returning to the form I knew he had. It's just what a guy, what a lad. Long may it continue. I think the Romero 17 shirts will be a lot more after this weekend for sure.
Can't call him Romero anymore. Actually, I want to see if there's anyone out there. Order your next Spurs jersey and get Rombom on the back, please. I'd absolutely love it. I'd go crazy for
I've actually said that I was going to get Romero this season. At the beginning of the season, I was like, I'm getting Romero. When he was named vice captain, I was like, that's it. I'm getting Romero, because I was going to get Kane if we had him for one more year, just for the vibes. But I was like, you know what? I'm getting Romero. And then he scored the opener, the opening goal for us. He scored. And then today it was just like, yeah, I'm definitely, maybe I'll see if the DH gate will give me the Rombom. Maybe they'll give me a cheaper.
Yeah, you have to see if they can get Rombom on it. But Jacob, where can people find you, my man?
United Spurs of America, like it says right there, and on my name. Hopefully, if I can get this boy down, I'll try and bring some kind of post-match reaction to the channel. Try to go live at least 5 times a week. So if not tonight, then I'll have something tomorrow. But yeah, keep it locked. You can always find me there on Twitter at @USpursOfA, just the letter U, Spurs of A. You can also find me there. So yeah, I've enjoyed it, Dave. Thank you for having me on. I'm sorry, but I do have to jump early before.
Yeah, no worries at all. It's been a pleasure, Jacob. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon, my man. I really appreciate it.
And before I leave, just want y'all to remember, Mint, the man ain't touched. He's in the box. You can't touch him.
We're about 250K in the future, my man. Don't open it. Yeah, I still have that. I have that as well, man.
No, Michael's got the Conte. I've got Conte chilling in a kangaroo right now because Ainge is his father. Ainge is the mother of him. So, but big ups, man. Thank you for having me. Sorry, I don't mean to digress, but big up everybody in the chat. Make sure y'all hit the like and subscribe. You're right there on 12K, so almost there. Keep hitting the like and subscribe, because this is my favorite place to be on match day personally.
Big up, my man. Really appreciate you coming on. And look, just as quickly, thank you to you and Nick, as well as Michael and me. Will let me plug ourselves as well. But, you create these post-match shows, what they are. The numbers don't speak for themselves. People really enjoy them. So thank you very much. Everyone, make sure you get over to Jacob's channel, hit the subscribe, the notification bell.
They only hear Jacob's voice because his voice is just so lovely. We all say about his lovely voice.
Yeah, they always say I have a face for radio, is what I've been told my whole life. So, but big up, Dave. Thanks for having me, y'all. Have a great rest of the show. Make sure y'all hit the like 2 times for the man, Dave. Come on, they put on a show all freaking match day. You and Jack, absolutely brilliant. So, big ups, man. Thanks for having me. Y'all have a great rest of your night.
See you, Jacob. Thank you, my man. Appreciate it. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Now, last but not least, Mia, who's your man of the match?
It has to be Sonny. Sonny for the hat trick. And just overall how good he was in the game. So it has to be Sonny. And obviously, I will also give a special shout out to Romero and that goal, because overall as well, not just that goal, defensively, he was on point. And I love the way he gets so animated and into it as well. Like he absolutely loves it. I love that as well. I love that passion that he brings to it. And he's come a long, long way with the way that he is when he's defending. He's so much more level-headed, sensible when he does do these tackles. So, and he's done, even like last week, he did that little filthy back heel, like I said to you, in the box. And it's just like, he's just got pure cheek as well nowadays with it. He's just absolutely been saucy. So, but Sonny, 100% would get it for me.
No, more of the same with that, for sure. Mia, where can people find you? What's going on over at the Great Spurs Between the Lines?
I will be live at 5 p.m. tomorrow evening UK time to do my own review, pending if my voice does hold up, but I'm hoping that it does. I just keep drinking. I've got a big bottle of water next to me, so I'm just keep continuously drinking. So I'm going to be doing that, and I obviously do my pre shows as well, so like pre-match. So that is what is happening over at Spurs Between the Lines. So if you don't know, then give your head a wobble.
Yeah, for sure. Get over there and check it out, though. She's back from holiday. The content will be free flowing, so make sure you get over there and check it out. And I've seen you doing the rounds with your brother the last couple of days, which is great to see. It's
good. It's fun because obviously the person that knows you the best, it's always a good laugh because we can just the way we talk to each other. We're a very close brother and sister, so it's quite a laugh having my brother around. Although I do like to pick on him because he's
very similar, though. More than what you know. More than what you know. You're very, very similar. Yeah.
Do you think that's funny, isn't it? That people think that. And I got Ellie said that me and Jack look similar, and I was really surprised by that. I was like, "Do you think?" So
you're more similar than what you think, for sure. But people, make sure you hit the notification bell on Mia's chat or Mia's channel when you do subscribe, and that'll alert you the next time the first upload comes up. So make sure you get on that. But I want to say a massive thank you to Mia. Michael, he's back again. Big up to Michael as well. Jacob and Nick as well. By the time we get to this point, me and Jack's voice is gone, throats are sore. These guys are the ones that make the show absolutely incredible insight. So I really appreciate all of you guys. It really does mean a lot giving up your time this evening to talk about our great football club. All you guys at home, a massive thank you as well. Not only for this show, but your support throughout the day. It's been absolutely unbelievable. Predicted lineup, pre-match show, watch along, post-match show. It's absolutely incredible. Also, members, Jack's post-match thoughts are up for you to go and have a look at, feast your eyes upon. And a massive thank you as well, not quickly, but to Ellie, the one and only Ellie, the great Ellie. Jay as well, great to see you. DJ, great as well. Big up. Also, Jason Bell, really appreciate the support, guys. It really does mean a lot, and it helps us, to continue on this journey and make this channel better and better and better. And the next one we are sort of working on in the background is the fan show to make it look better and everything for everyone else. So that'll be next. But by the way, just come on. Give us the credit for the graphics. They're absolutely phenomenal. The quality. But we are going to end it off there. So I'm going to say a massive thank you to you all. We head into the international break victorious, which is all we could ever ask for. Many Spurs fans demanded after content. They wanted to be entertained. Well, Big Ange has delivered that entertainment. We are value for money right now. But we are going to end it off here. Come on, you Spurs. In the Coys. And look out for Twitter reaction in the morning. It's going to be an absolute belter. See you all then. Come on, you Spurs.
Bye-bye.
Everywhere we go.